Good morning, Mets fans, and welcome to a very rare Sunday morning edition of Driving with Mr. Met. I am Mr. Met, and I'm recording this morning because I'm going to be out of town for the coming week, Monday through Friday. I don't know how much time I will have to make any videos this week, and it's not as though there's a whole lot of news to talk about today, but I did want to get a recording in and chat about two rumors that Mets blog is reporting, or discussing, I guess is the more appropriate word, about some moves the Mets might make in the next couple of days before spring training kicks off. Mets blog has two stories that it ran yesterday, I believe, or maybe late Friday, about potential moves that the Mets might make, and some of the names that the team has sort of narrowed things down to as far as who they're looking at. The first and the most glaring need on the surface, as we've been talking about for the last probably 3 months now, is infield. And it's a toss-up, basically a coin flip between third base and second base. And I guess the real question is, do the Mets want to make Asdrubal Cabrera feel as comfortable as possible? Therefore, should they be going out and trying to get a third baseman? Or do they say, screw you, dribble, play where you need to play, and that's that, and they go out and get a second baseman? Personally, I think that the approach there is to get the best player available amongst everyone who's available, or I guess amongst everyone who's willing to sign with the Mets, whether that be a second baseman or a third baseman, and Cabrera floats depending on whoever it is the Mets end up getting. That would make the most sense to me. But the two names that have been most recently sort of narrowed down as far as who the Mets are looking at are Todd Frazier and Eduardo Nuñez. Of the two, I think Nuñez is the better fit. I think Nuñez is a far more versatile player than Frazier. Nuñez also profiles to be a guy who can hit toward the top of the lineup, whereby Frazier is, at this point in his career, more of a sixth place hitter, which, you know, the Mets have certainly enough of at this point. So between the two, my preference would be Eduardo Nuñez, and I'm not thinking twice about it. As much as I like Todd Frazier, and as much as I think he would be a great addition to the team, be a great clubhouse guy, give Gary a chance to say Tom's River Zone like every day, because that's what he does. Excuse me. But I'm going Nuñez. I think Nuñez is, as I said, a more versatile player, can play outfield as needed, plays second base, plays third base, plays left field, right field. It doesn't make sense not to get him if, again, those are the two names that are out there. I'm still holding out hope for Moustakas. I just think that the longer this lasts, as far as these free agents just kind of chilling out there, the more likely it is, or the easier, I guess, it'll be for the Mets to go out and get a Moustakas type. The other rumor or opinion or story on Mets blog, story, that's the right word, not a fact, it's not an opinion, it's just a story. The other story is that the Mets are starting to seriously consider getting an innings eater type guy. And the two names there, and I mentioned them this week, were Lynn and Cobb. Those are the sort of 1 and 2 guys on the list. Either one of them would become a very stabilizing presence in the Mets bullpen, with them both probably slotting into the 3 hole in the rotation. And they're sort of filling that Bartolo Colon type role, which is, this is a guy who's going to stay on the field, going to give you 200 innings, is going to be the rock of the rotation, and who's gonna pitch to a 3.5 to 4.0 ERA, and who can be counted on, who's less of a question mark than the other 3 options in the rotation in Harvey, Wheeler, and Matz. You know, the Harvey situation is what it is, and I think we're going to know really quickly in the beginning of the year whether Harvey's going to bounce back and return to form 2015, 2013 style, or if he is what he was in 2016 and the beginning part of 2017. We don't know. You know, we'll find out. But it's a question mark with Harvey. We know that Harvey has the track record to show that he can be that ace-type pitcher. When you talk about Wheeler and you talk about Matz, they don't have the track record to back it up. So that's where the argument for getting a guy like Cobb or Lynn and putting them in the rotation, that's where I'm in favor of that completely. Both Wheeler and Matz have missed an inordinate amount of time over the last 3 years on the disabled list with fluky injuries and whatnot. I would rather see the Mets, instead of going out and getting Nuñez, instead of going out and getting Frazier, I'd rather see them get Lynn or Cobb. I'd prefer Lynn of the two, just again because he's a more established player, he's got more of a track record. And he's a bigger bodied type, more likely to stay on the field and less likely to get injured. I think that should be the number one choice. The more I think about it, the more I love Matt Cerrone's idea of Luis Guillorme as the second baseman to start the season. I just, the up the middle defense to me is so important, and provided that Cespedes can stay on the field, provided that Bruce can stay on the field, provided that Conforto can come back when he comes back, provided that Smith can hit the ball moderately well, provided that Darno and Plawecki can profile as a tandem decent major league catcher to very good major league catcher when you look at their combined numbers. That was actually another good story on Mets blog about Plawecki feeling like he and Travis are being disrespected and aren't being given the credit they deserve. I thought it was funny to read it that way, but if you look closer at their numbers, they actually do together profile to be a really good major league catcher. So my point to all of this is the offense is there. It's not as deep as you might like it to be, but the offense is there. It is going to be possible for the Mets to score runs, provided that the defense and the pitching can keep the other team off the board. And that's where the Guillorme at second base thing to me just, why not? Give it a try. What's the worst that could happen? So that's going to wrap it up for me today. I wanted to chat about those few things, as I said. If you have any thoughts or opinions, you can hit me up on Twitter at Mr_Met, or you can check me out in the comment section below. Yeah, check me out. Make a comment in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to respond to it. Again, I will be out next week. I will try my best to record a video, especially if something newsworthy breaks. But until the next time we talk, I thank you for watching as always. And as always, let's go Mets.